to show you something else and have you sort of sink or swim. That's what going to
sink or
another.
swim.
That's what another
Trial by
culture
fire.
is. Yeah, you're the minority suddenly.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and that I find is always extremely valuable.
Yeah.
Because that's what. It's not so much what you know.
Yeah.
It's how you can
operate with
it.
Exactly.
Within, okay, so here we are in Honduras, and so for example, we've been taught don't start the meal before before everyone's at the table. But you saw that everyone was starting. It's like, should we
now I can do that.
Okay, well, let's decide, because it's ambiguous, and there's no real.
Which means I have to be observant.
Yes.
I can't just be stuck in. Well, that's always the way to do it. Which again is the part of it is that's easier with age, meaning it's more natural to be that way with age. I think because there's less. Well, who knows why neurologically? I think you just plasticize more. You're less plastic, but the way that feels probably is, well, now it's I've figured out enough, and I'm doing enough good things, and I'm gonna keep doing it these ways, and so somehow there needs to be more of a feedback between those two parts. In my part of my life right now, I'm partly by virtue of being young, I'm very all over the place. But I can see how if I don't make that one part of the two-part equation, I end up needing to be much more stable by necessity.
What do you mean?
Meaning, I end up, for example, I don't get a degree, and that happened to be a very big limiter of choices in what I wanted to do, and then I settle for a job, say for a teaching job, at the same time as I have a kid, and then I just need to stay with that, and so the same way as right now it's all one. That's what might lead it to be all the other in the future. And that's very, 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 that's scary enough to me to make me care much more about being productive right now than I would if
you're in the prime of your life when you have the most options in front of you. So what you're at a crossroads, you can do things that will help you in the future, or you can do things that that may limit your choices and then put you in a bind. And you're thinking, oh shit, I wish I had done it when I had the opportunity. Because right now, you've had this amazing opportunity that Cynthia has managed to find for you of this job, and every day that you what's the opposite of accept? Reject. Well, that you don't accept.
Every day I don't.
If they say, "Oh, we have work for you," and you say, "No, I want to take this week off because I'm."
Every day I decline.
Declining, because I.
Or every term I decline studies is what you're probably also talking about.
Yeah, both. Because both are gifts handed to you. God knows I don't believe in God, but to have a job at your age without a degree, teaching, making that much money, to me it's an absolute gift. And to be declining days worked, or to be declining the possibility of studying, it's too bad that now the co-op option is no longer, because that was really our hope. That through the I don't know whether you can reapply to the co-op program now that you've been out for a while, and say, look, this is the only way to make it work.
Then to do teaching as my co-op.
You could make your own co-op, I suppose, by just teaching for a term and then going back full time or whatever. I don't know, but it seems to me, and it's not like I'm dogmatic about school. It took me 6 years to do my degree, because I took 2 years did 1 year was to do Canada World Youth, and that was a huge eye-opening experience. And the other one was to work full-time at CKCU, and I edited their magazine, and I had a documentary program that I produced, and I did DJing, and I was on the board of directors.
Yeah.
So it was a very full year as well. Plus I did, how long was that? 4 months traveling through Europe. So both of those years were quite full and very enriching, but it did take me 6 years to do my degree. So I'm not like someone who thinks you must go to university every single year after. I do think I would be a very different person had I not taken those 2 years off.
But you can see how even in your case, taking that time off didn't take
productive,
away from,
and
it was productive.
And then it moved me more into development, like so.
But don't you think this time off, maybe, for example, did your mom see how taking time off for Canada World Youth was moving you towards development?
Absolutely.
She did.
Well, moving me towards a good place. We didn't know that at that time that it was towards development, but being a citizen of the world.
Yeah.
In some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So she was totally on board with it. I remember I wasn't talking to my dad for a long time, for about 10 years. So I only heard through my mom later that my dad was asking questions, because he was like, "What's this? She's taking off and everything."
Yeah.
Although he never said anything to me directly.
Yeah.
But I think she quashed those fears.
Yeah.
And I do believe that. But I think if you get lost in a lot of too much inward thinking,
exactly,
and not enough.
Too many people have fallen into that.
Yeah.
It's all about staring into it long enough that you find what you can to go do something with it. And then, but I think it's every time I've gone away, I've left that to have a very productive time, it's been much more productive. It's been much more formative. And it's been led to much. It's been in a way that I value a lot more. Meaning, after last winter of lost the company and just working and trying to read a lot, and I went to those classes in the summer that I was really motivated by, and then there was that time where I almost dropped them because I didn't have the money, and then I just I needed to find the thing that made it worth doing it, and it was. But isn't it the case that it's been the case that it hasn't been by forcing, I have to find a way that this makes sense for me to go back. It's always been, what's always made it worthwhile in the end is maybe I don't. Maybe I actually will never go back. But maybe I'm fooling myself with that too. So let's figure it out. And in my history so far, doing it that way as opposed to, I need this, it's brought me a lot farther than I think it could have otherwise. Maybe at least.
I'm not sure I understand what you're saying.
If last summer I just said, I just need to find the money and I need to go through this, I think the some consequence of having that is I wouldn't have a good marker anymore for what I really need, what's worth spending time on and what's not. Having found where did the motivation to get that loan and finish those classes come from? It came from talking to my profs about this is exactly why this is worth doing, and even if it's not, even unless you are absolutely clear on what you want to do if you drop out, and you have a thing to do right now, don't do it. The thing that might be different right now is I still don't want to drop out, meaning tell them I don't want to go back. I want to now, but now I do have a thing I wanted to do. Last summer, for one day, the YouTube thing, right? The test. last summer
Because you wouldn't count the teaching as something that you...
No, because that's well.
That's going to get boring very quickly.
At first, before it was boring, I did, and if it had kept being a long-term thing that was very challenging, I would have found it a thing to do until it wasn't challenging. But now it's not. So now it's a supporter. But in so where did it a thing we were talking about a thing to do. A thing worth doing. Oh yeah,
You were saying
teaching,
the last time you didn't have anything particularly on your plate.
For one day,
that's what motivated you.
Yeah. For one day, I was like, I've always wanted to drop out. Not always, but since for a while now, like a year, I've thought this is not working, and I'm going to. For a day, I was
What is not working?
Like university. And I'm going to drop out, and I'm going to start, what? That was the thing. It's like, do what? Like I have nothing right now. I'm gonna read in my mom's house about the world for 4 months. If I had to, I would, but I don't want to. It's I need to go just far enough with this that luckily enough I got the teaching job. I was so lucky it came at the necessary time. But so I think it's about if you're asking what's your product, and if I'm going to if I like what you said about dealing with change, like response to change is a very important skill, and more so it will be. How do I show you how to do that? And at the same time, it's I'm doing that, and then how do I show people on a YouTube thing how that is done on a in this one case basis?
Need you to show them
no,
how to do
what
it? Like,
they don't need me or anyone. They might not think they might not know it's a thing to do, or they might. It's like asking, do I think I need a class to show me how to learn this subject? I don't need it. It might be a shortcut. It's like, I don't know how to deal with change. This guy's talking about something which I actually encountered in my life, so I need to talk about those things. Can I try this in my life, and see if it works? So they don't need it. For some people might. Maybe not me, but a person to show them. And so most people won't, but will still be helped by, being like seeing this and, I haven't been thinking about that. That's really important. Let me go develop it myself.
but I think
that's
for the
even
most
better.
part, people don't get those skills by listening to a YouTube video. Most people do it in real life, and they learn from real.
A lot, yeah. But
so I don't.
But they learn from real. But where do they learn to think, to realize? A lot of people happen upon skills, and then there's a lot of skills that you're exposed to the idea behind it, and also the practice behind it, but from someone else or from a book or from a class, and then it's a compelling enough idea that you go find it yourself with more intention. Part of the point is more intention to this. Like more attention and more intention. Meaning...
but do you think you have had a particularly changeful life more than other people? I mean,
I have no idea. I doubt it. I don't think I'm...
I think you're unusual in that respect at all. I think lots of people have gone through different changes and had to figure out how to make it. So the question is, why would anyone listen to you?
That's maybe that is a question. The question is also, it's kind of the idea of why were people... why did Jajo, who saw his country almost torn apart and saw people die in front of him, why is he such a positive person now? And meanwhile, these people that have had everything in their lives, why are they so depressed? maybe I might not have had the amount of changes. I might be right in the middle or lower middle or upper middle. I don't know. I have no idea of gauging the statistics in terms of how tumultuous my life has been from an objective perspective. But maybe the amount to which it's affected me has been a lot. Maybe just enough to make me think about it a lot, and not enough for it to totally like destroy me the way a lot of depressed people get destroyed by amounts of change. In the sense of, I've wrestled with it enough. A lot of people, I don't know how. I have no idea of. A lot of people might go through way more change. I have no idea of knowing
less impacted by it.
exactly, or being less conscious of how it impacted exactly, and how, be less clear about the way it's affected you, the way you can affect it, and this whole thing. They make it's less part of their narrative, their story. For me, it's like, if it's the whole story, even if it was based on one thing, it might be, I might be able to make more use out of it than if it was someone else's whole story, but they made no story out of it, So in that sense, it might be a bit more. If anything, it's in that sense, not in the amount. A lot of people get parents divorced. A lot of people lose their jobs. Most people just, you have to move on, and you do. There might be some use to, if I just move on, I'm kind of moving on somewhat chaotically. I have maybe through how much, how important that chaos has been in part of my life, I've become much more observant of it, of like, and maybe by becoming more observant of it, I've become better at, or I don't know if I have, I think I have, at least so far only in shifting what I want to do, but I think also it can be in practice. Maybe by observing it, I can become better at acting with it, not by it acting on me, not one directional.